days of code between Codex, Claude, running pretty much 18 hours a day. And it got so big that I was thinking I'll just change the name. But the code's so big, it's in it entirely. Um, so mine's similar to Neo. But obviously I haven't got Alex in the background. So Neo's probably, probably another. It's probably different, So because mine's not only trading, it's running multiple businesses and Etsy stores, Spotify. It's running freelancer work. It's doing printables. It's doing all this other stuff as well. So I mean, it, it's hard. You can't compare. You know what I mean? But mine's got the 805. Your initial balances. It's got the 12 o'clock IB. It'll send me alerts when Trump tweets. It's connected to Worldview. So if anything happens throughout the world, live streams, everything else, if it affects the market while I'm trading, it'll come up warning, market volatility. And it warns me straight away. So expect volatility in the market, and it'll give me a short brief of, America just bombed Iran, so it's plugged into news feeds and Gex data. It's plugged into TradeVision. It's plugged into deep charts. So it's looking at order flow. It's looking at levels. It's looking at that. The next thing I've got to try and teach it. And what I need to do is give it eyes on the screen. So at the moment it can read candles in tick data. So it's scraping TradeVision every uh, every 2 milliseconds. So, and we've downloaded 2 years of NQ data as well for back testing. So it's running through trades. It's gone through, 30,000 trades, and just constantly improving and looking for models that I don't know about or anyone or no one else knows about, so it's trying to perfect its own system to go, well, when this happens and that lines up and everything else, I take along and I win on that trade. So it's hit and miss. So, but it'll get there. It'll get there. I just got to stop. I've moved it from OpenClaw to Hermes, and there's a live VPS running 24/7 trading in Singapore. So that's on a server. So yeah, it's it's different. It's bigger in that sense, so with the scope, but yeah, but it'll get there. It'll get there.
That's amazing. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, that is awesome. But like we're hearing on these mega data centers that they're planning on building all over the US, they're just energy hogs, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, SpaceX will be a good one. They're going to own the market eventually. So, I mean, they're already putting data centers in space, so they don't need cooling because space is cold, and they just need a big solar panel array, and they've got all the power they need because there's no clouds in space and it's always sunny.
Is that the
So
master move with Elon, maybe then? Who knows?
yeah, I get in on his chats. He chats live on TikTok, and he chats for hours. I don't know, like the
Elon
guys.
does?
Yeah,
What? I didn't
yeah.
know that.
So there's one night there we were trading and whatever, like it, and it was about 8 o'clock my time, which is like, I don't know, 5 a.m. in the morning your time. And he was chatting away in a TikTok and whatever. I've done the morning session with you guys, stopped out, gone to another room that I'm in with Fabio, and that went for 2.5 hours, and then came back to TikTok,
We
and
gotta get
Elon's still talking.
going soon. I was trying to let y'all roll through. Sorry, cut you off.
Johnny's a
Because
trader.
we got 10
Cut
minutes
him
before the
off.
market open here.
Yeah, well, if you're trading now, you're an idiot.
Yeah, right. But bunks, you need
Don't be
the
talking to
Discord
me.
drums for that one.
Don't be talking to me like that.
Are you? Yeah, I'm on the website right now. Oh shoot, gosh, man.
I'm actually not
Man. See,
trading.
I was listening to Johnny, man. We were all so intrigued. I totally didn't even open the open session. Terrible. It's not an open session if it's not open. I'm like, what do you mean? I am live on the website. Ooh, no, never mind.
This is private, actually.
Who's running this show? Cody, you had one job.
I'm not cut out for work.
There you go.
Well said.
It should be updated on the site now, guys. Just refresh your page. Sorry about that.
That's letting the fox watch the hen house.
Yeah, it's a Monday. No, I was kind of tripping out because I got a so my daughter took the car and then my wife took the car, so I don't have a car right now. And I had a text say, be sure to be at your doctor's appointment for the checkup or whatever at 11:45, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm getting there. I'm not Ubering, so I kind of deal with that real quickly. But anyways, morning, guys. Let me make sure I should be all good. The morning session is open for those that want to join. Looks like some of you guys are coming in here, and so yep, everything's good. All right. So I'm gonna run through, guys. Good morning. Couple of things on kind of where the market's doing, where it's going, potential right through open. We have about 9 minutes, so I'll try to go quickly. On the right here, if you are new to the stream, is Neo. He is our AI that we created to help trade. I'm not gonna let him talk a lot early on because I've identified. I've identified that the algo gods of TikTok don't seem to like AI voices early on. So we tested that last night and it worked out pretty well, actually. So I'm going to let him talk at least on the want to know his prediction of open because he's been pretty on point with those things. And then and then what I'll do is, as we kind of go through the market open, I will mute him at times and just kind of read what he says, just to kind of appease that. So kind of where we're at and where we're gonna go. Let's look. So we were looking at it today, guys. So I wanted to share a couple things for everybody. One, we're in the midst of a contract change. So if you're trading the NASDAQ with us, then or you're using NEO on that, right? You need to make sure that you're on the right contract. So NEO is going to track the most current contract, right, within that pivot. And so with the contract change, right, it doesn't actually force you to do it until I think like Thursday, but you should, right? That's where all the volume is going to be. So the new contract is U, so you can either chart it by doing the MNQU or NQU, or you could do the MNQ1 exclamation, right, if you're using it on TradingView. That the one exclamation lets the contracts kind of flow through. So it'll pivot to the new contracts, when you should. And so it did pivot that to for me on Sunday. So the other thing that a lot of people tend to forget about is down here, right? The adjustment for contract changes. So if you notice, if I have this off, right, it's going to drastically change the levels of what we hit. Now, if you notice, it doesn't change our structure really whatsoever. The only thing that changes
Which one is on and which one is off? What does it look like if it's on?
Yeah, and so this is the one where I have it on, right? And then that's where I have it
Okay.
off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and so normally I keep this off. I'm cool with what is he thinking? We're gonna ask him in a second. But I'm gonna turn it on because of where we are in this range. Because when I have this off, right, with the old contract, I'm on a new contract price, and it just changes the dynamics of the levels, right? Now, interesting enough, you can see with this contract, right, we have that as our high, and then when we come to that one, it just acts as support for the low, right? So I'm going to choose to turn it on just because it gives me that higher high of what this actual contract has gotten to, which is 31.1. And we'll track that. So if you want to track it structure-wise, you're going to want to make sure that you're either tracking the MNQ1 exclamation and you're turning that on or off, or just chart the actual contract. So for Tradeovate, you're just going to want to do U. So it's just going to be NQU6 or MNQU6 on that. So just a little morning disclaimer there. So now, where we're going to go. You know, as far as the way this looks, right, it's pretty bullish from within, right? But we have to see if it holds come open, right? Because we have our high, we have our low, we know we got a drop, we got a measured move expansion drop, and then we talked about if this cannot break this low, right, then it's going to invalidate, which tends to push up pretty hard. It's ugly looking, but, you know, a little mini inverse head and shoulder, not really mini, I guess. You got this one here, and then kind of a larger, ugly formation of it, right? So, you know, for us to get up into here, right, 887 is normal for how that would react, right? So, we broke the prior highs. You guys know that this level was huge, this prior high, because it was also within these prior lows. So I think I lowered this one a little bit actually, but I'm going to put it just up a bit because I like to grab some of that low. So I'm going to do kind of right there around 30,041. And so we had one of the bigger drops that we've had in quite some time, right? And so after record pushes. And so now you think about it, from that drop, we double tapped it. We retested this prior highs, and we're on the way up. Now, you know, we're due for a pretty decent retracement, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a little sell-off right on open, just to have people take profit. Is what people do. But there's a lot of variables right now, guys. Insane amount of variables. So keep your volume low. You got the stuff going on in the Middle East. You got the AI stuff. You got the SpaceX stuff. You got there's just so many variables, y'all. Like, and so don't over leverage today. We got to see where this sends us, because right now we're bullish. So, but you know, for us to get this type of expansion, if you think about it, I'm a big fan of measured moves, and you take this push to this push, right? And then I take that line and I pull it to the bottom here. We're right at expansion, right? For that measure move. So anything that sweeps is fine. If market open decides it wants to go north first, I'm totally fine with it. Because on the reclaim of that area, right, that 610 kind of area, I will ride that south, right? So, but you can see, you know, the first few minutes is trying to push up northern. I'm not going to let NEO talk a lot in the beginning because, again, it tends to trigger algos that don't like it. And so, but I have to do at least the one, and if we've done it every day, and so if it means I get dinged, then I get dinged. So let's ask them, because we got 2 minutes. Hey Neo, we have 2 minutes to market open. If you were a market maker, based on the price and structure, all the data that you see, where would you send price to wreck the most retail on open?
If I were playing to wreck retail, I'd trap them early. Since the market is pushing high, I'd look to jam price straight through the recent 30,638.50 high to suck in breakout chasers, then immediately faded back down to clear the stops sitting under 30,538.50. It's all about creating that fake out move to grab liquidity before the real direction starts. Don't chase the open. Wait for the first real trap to play out.
There you have it, folks. I'm going to mark this one blue because that's what we usually do. So this was his, he is expecting, right, some kind of push north, since we're already kind of bullish within, to trap some retail, and then at some point pull that back down to there. He didn't quite give us a high, so I'm curious to see what he thinks about that high. It'll be probably better once he gets the market open data, and then that way he can identify the somebody answer in that mentor chat to Dean. He asked if we're on the new contract. Didn't get the memo. No. Just let him know, yeah. Okay, so let's go in here, guys, because we got market open coming in 10 seconds. Let me make sure I got all my stuff ready. I think I'm good. Yeah, should be good. All right, market open. Ding, ding, ding. So getting some push north, but it failed to create a higher high there, so we're getting our sweep south. A lot of indecision, but the bears look like they're winning the fight a little more. But let's see where this lands, guys. These first couple candles are going to be extremely crucial. So I'm watching the 15-second heavily. So you can see the 1 minute's created our high and our low. The high created an equal high, and the low created a higher low. So that suggests the bulls are going to come back in strong. So for me, you know, short term, right, I would want to see at least, I'm going to shrink this a little, give me a little more expansion here. I would want to see it sweep this high, right, of the 642 pretty well, kind of like Neo said. There it goes. Then I want to see it tick over and come down and lose that high, right? Then I would play the swing high, swing low. But so far, Neo's first move is on point. Who did it? We always joke about it every time, where we're like, he says he's gonna sweep the high. We should just do a market open 1 MNQ, and I didn't trust it again today. One of these times I'll do it on an eval, but so far he's good, right, on it. But now let's see if we you know, he didn't give us a point of how high, but we can ask him again now that he's gonna have some of the institutional stuff and data. We'll give him another minute or so, and then we'll ask him here. But yeah, so you know, his plan was sweep the high, trap in a bunch of longs, and then sweep the low. So let's see what he says now. So it looks like we did end up sweeping that high. Do we have any potential resistance placed above us that would push us back down to that low? Or do you see any changes since market open that we should be concerned with? I'm going to let him talk again, and then we'll...
Price pushed past that high and is stalling right into the 30,684.43 institutional resistance zone. Since institutional flow is still showing sell pressure, this is a prime spot for a failed breakout trap. I wouldn't trust a long here until price proves it can hold above 30,684.43. If price rejects this zone and falls back below the 30,628.50 level, look for a move back down to the 30,596.83 support.
Okay, so he's seeing an institutional level at the 684. If price rejects in this zone, falls back below 628, that's what he would target to 96. So it seems like he don't really even like a short until we get back below 628. So we can mark that. Again, when I do these blue lines, it's going to be kind of like the Neo line, right? So I'll make it a little bigger so people can see. I know on the phones it's not super easy. And so, but let's watch it, guys. As of right now, we're kind of climbing within this push. We definitely broke through a lot of levels there. He marked, his other zone he was watching was 684, so I'm just going to mark that really quickly so we can use that as potential breakdown spots. I tend to draw mostly on my 1 minute chart. So let's see if we get this breakdown, right? Pressure's still pushing. We got the indecision finally after a little bit after the push, so we want the close below that if we want to get any kind of retrace from there. So we have a few new things we can ask to talk to him about. As we're into market open, can you help break down what the average price move is right now? And where's our 50% retracement that we should be watching from this push?
The current push is showing strong bullish momentum, with the swing range at 94.5 points. Your 50% decision area to watch for a potential pullback is 30,649.00. If price holds above the 30,649.00 level, the trend stays solid and points toward the measured move target at 30,732.00. If it loses that area, be careful, as that shift would weaken the bullish expansion.
There you go. So, guys, this is exciting because we just finished the last and final trading strategy update that we were doing with NEO, and it's been doing really well. And so you can see, right? Notice some key things that he says here. One is the 50% retracement of this current move is right around he said 649, right? Notice how we dropped almost to 649, 655, right? So we did get a pretty good retracement. That is, remember, in that push with that retracement, if it holds any kind of DOM support anywhere higher or equal to that, the buyers are going to step in, right? And so when we look at the 50% retracement styles or what he's looking at, that's what we want to heavily weigh, right? And so just kind of be aware of that. And so let's keep looking here. So as of right now, guys, it's pretty bullish. So now I want to see some structure start to form here because we have these highs with a lot of indecision, and we know that that 84 range is what he said the institutional positioning was at. I want to give it a little bit, and then we'll see if he identifies any kind of move from it, right? Now you guys know structure-wise, we did have our retracement to clear the liquidity. Now we're sweeping the high. If this loses that 50%, right, then that is going to create a lower low typically, or at least equal. So that would be somewhere around that 680 range. So anything short of that, his expansion was 732 is what he was looking at. That's why we marked that one blue. So for those taking these longs, but just be careful. Make sure you're trailing stuff, guys. So let's see. So it looks like we came down and got a pretty good retracement from there, and then we're pushing back up. Do you still see the institutional positioning or area of resistance around that 732, or is anything shifting in that? I'm going to still let him talk a little.
The market
If
just
I get ding,
reclaimed the
ding, ding.
30,676.83 institutional reaction level, which is now acting as immediate support. That 30,732.00 measured move remains a live upside target, but you've got a major gamma resistance wall waiting at 30,806.83 that will likely cap the push. Nothing has shifted yet to invalidate the upside, but don't get reckless chasing it this close to those institutional walls. If price loses 30,676.83, the bullish expansion is toast and you're looking at a rotation back toward 30,652.67.
He said the bullish expansion is toast. That's funny. There you go. So his thing is this 732 is a measured move, right? That's something that we've added into him so he can identify those measured moves, right? So from a measured move, he's expecting some kind of possible retracement from around 732. 806 is an institutional positioning wall, right? And so that would be our upper. 538 was the lower of that positioning. We'll check if we start to break down. We'll check and see if that changes. But we can ask him based on the 8 minutes of market open data that we have here. Among all the other stuff you can see, does it seem higher probability we're going to get to 806 or down to that 538? Or do you have any changes on the institutional positioning now that we're open?
The 30,806.83 resistance is the primary magnet for this move, but hitting it depends on whether buyers can hold the 30,651.94 institutional support on a pullback. The negative institutional flow is still trying to choke this rally, so don't assume a straight line to 806. It's a show me market right now. If price can't reclaim and hold momentum above this area, the 30,538.50 low remains the logical liquidity target for the bears. Watch that 30,651.94 level like a hawk. It's the make or break zone for this current bullish push.
There you go. Okay. So again, don't assume it's going straight to 806, which you can see we're starting to pull back a bit. 651 seems to be a little bit of a shift on the. So this one was the 50% retracement. Whether buyers can hold that 651 institutional support on a pullback. Negative institutional flow is still trying to choke this rally, so don't assume this trade. So again, that's interesting, right? Because he's saying that institutions are still selling, right? And we're seeing that within these pullbacks. Let's see. Old momentum above 538. Yeah, low remains the 538 low remains the logical liquidity target for the bears, but 650, not the 651 he keeps talking about, seems to be the pivotal thing. So if we stay below 651, right, then we're likely going to that target. If we stay above, then we're likely going to the 806. So we can mark that on the chart. I have it as the 649, but I'll move it to the 51 just because the 49 was more that measured move at the time. So he's referring to this one as something institutional. So let's mark it. So let's see what we got. But we are getting some good sell pressure, guys. So be really careful chasing your longs. If you want to take your longs, right, just make sure you get a clear kind of pullback, doji, close above kind of set, and you're gonna have to set stop losses if we get below 651. So, which is, I think it's pretty sound advice on it for right now. Let's see. See how almost, look at that. If you think about it, honestly, we literally hit 51 to a T. I don't know if anybody took the bounce. I didn't, but it hit it almost like to a T. And so for him to adjust that as the institutional support and to see us just jump up 60 bucks is pretty cool. Come on, guys. This is pretty awesome. You have to admit. So, if you looked at his beginning statement, he said that 806 is probably looking to be the primary target move first. So be careful on your shorts because it is looking very like that. So now 732 is what we just hit. Remember, 732 is his next level of institutional positioning that he was talking about. So I would love to see a little 50% retracement here, right? Because then that would validate that level's pretty strong as well. So let's see. The bulls came in pretty hard. Do you think they're going to pass this measured move 732?
That 30,732.00 measured move is likely to get tested, but the buy fraction is cooling off and the structure is showing some early signs of buyer fatigue. If price can't sustain momentum above this area, don't be surprised to see a sharp rejection back toward the 30,652.83 support.
Let's ask him. Do you think right now in this environment my bias should be more long or short? And do you think it should be more scalping, or do you think we're pretty clear for longer plays?
This environment is a total chop fest, so I'd lean toward quick scalps rather than trying to force a longer play. The institutional flow is screaming sell pressure while price structure is trying to hold up, which is a recipe for getting chopped up if you hold too long. Stick to short-term reactions around those institutional walls. Don't marry any direction until we get a clean expansion that actually sticks.
There you go. Guys on TikTok, you can ask questions. I am watching comments for that TikTok algo. I am here. It's me. Inside joke. But if you guys have questions, please ask. So you guys are going to be on a little delay from those that are in the community room right now. And this is NEO AI that we're referring to. So let's ask them. So it looks like the bulls are losing a little bit of steam. What would be the 50% retracement level we'd watch on this pullback? Stumping them.
The current 50% decision area to watch for this pullback is 30,693.25. If price holds above there, the bullish structure remains intact, but losing that level signals a potential shift and opens the door for a retest of the lower support zones.
There we go. So let's watch that level, which so far it bounced pretty good. So if we lose that level, right, he's saying that we're going to get a deeper draw back down to the 628, I think. Let's see. If we lose that 693, what's the potential target down below?
If we lose the 30,693.00 decision area, the first meaningful downside target is the institutional support near 30,681.83. If that level fails to hold, price is likely to rotate down toward the 30,655.03 major support zone.
Let's watch and see what we get. So I'm trying to watch that level. We do have indecision as well, so a close above here is going to give expansion through that likely. That would be around 723 or so. So 732 is the level we're watching. 693 would be the low of this doji. 689, close below there, give us expansion to the south. But we're still trying to push a little here, but it's going to determine how deep, right? That AI don't know nothing. That's funny. You're funny. Guys in the community, SP500 Tactician is jealous. He's a little jealous of Neo. He says, clearly I have no chart experience. You crack me up, man. Hold on, let's, I don't want to get distracted, man. You ain't gonna distract me, but I'll let Neo handle you. Troll.
That's fair. If you're looking for clean execution, ditch the noise and focus on what's actually happening.
There
Price
you go.
is sitting right on top of that 30,710.64
He
institutional
don't even want
support.
to
As long as it
entertain you
holds
either.
that level,
Hey,
the bullish
congrats, man! If
structure
you
is
already
the
made
only
your
thing
money
that
and you're so
matters.
good,
If
you
it
should
cracks,
probably
the
go enjoy
rainbows
your own
won't
lives.
save you from a quick flush down to the
We'll just mute you, and then you can talk to yourself. That'd be
30,651.94 zone.
fun. I'm not gonna block you though, because at another time it'll be fun to let my AI pick on you. All right, pushing up, like he said, right? We're pushing through that 732. His target that he was looking at for institutions was 806 from within. We did have a trap on there. I didn't even see that. I don't know if anybody saw that on the 5-minute. And so we got that play. We got the close above, so we're getting the expansion. So again, in the shorts, you want to be really careful if you were trying to take them, because we are now trying to push to that upper level. So any kind of break back below, right, the 732 is what is going to pull it back, right? Anything that holds above that, we're going to continue to expand. So how are you guys doing? Anybody taking this long kind of push? Hopefully you're trailing it.
Me,
I'm up.
I'm taking it.
Nice.
Up 661 on an eval.
Good. Nice. Good deal.
898 on the eval.
Nice. Well, you know, trolls on TikTok say it's not possible, guys. You guys can't be profitable. Come on. You have no shark experience. That always cracks me up. Anyways, I'm gonna look for this push to see again. I'm watching this level here. So not only is that 732 the institutional spot he talked about, but it's the ORB set. So if we lose this ORB with any kind of steam, right, we'll get a pretty decent pullback because we have the highs right here as well. So anything that stays above that 732 level, right, any kind of pullback that bounces again, it's going to go for another high, right, in the pursuit of that 806 there. So let's keep tracking and see what he's got here. Looks like we might be stalling out, but it's kind of holding above that 732. Do you think they're just taking a breath before another push, or we might retrace here soon?
Price is stalling right into the 30,756.83 institutional resistance, which is acting like a ceiling for this push. It's too early to call this a full reversal, but holding that 30,710.93 support area is the absolute minimum the bulls need to do to keep a push alive. If it can't clear 30,756.83 with conviction, expect a deeper retrace to shake out the weak hands before they decide on the next direction.
Yeah, we're starting to push a little bit through that level. Do you see any changes in the institutional positioning, order flow, buy fraction, all that stuff? Anything that would show, even in the structural data that you have, that this might be weakening, or does it show strength?
Price is punching right into that 30,756.83 institutional resistance zone, but the buy fraction has dropped to 77.79% and the institutional flow remains negative, which is a massive red flag. The structural data is starting to show bullish consolidation and high expansion risk, meaning this breakout is looking more like a liquidity grab than a clean trend move. I wouldn't trust this breakout unless price reclaims 30,756.83, holds it as support, and sees buy fraction push back up. If buy pressure continues to bleed out here, you're looking at a textbook trap that could dump back to 30,711.90 in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. And so what he keeps referring to that 56 level. So what he was talking about there is he wants to see it, continue to hold that support. If we lose that 56, right, we're going down. So it's a good one to kind of watch with him saying that, right? Because he keeps referring to that level. So this is what I do when I test him that he's done well with is when he identifies a level like that and he talks about it regularly. Usually if we stay above that, you want to be more long. If we break below that, we want to be more short, right? And it's not a bad level to watch, right? Because you do have some prior highs in there. We are pushing with expansion. The ORB back is here, and then you have the prior high as well, right? So for us to get that 50%. Now, the interesting thing is, if you notice, well, by the time we get to that, where we are at that high lines that 50% of almost perfect, right? So if the bears are going to kick in at all, pretty soon would be where they would have to, right? And so, but as of right now, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute's bullish, 15-second is still doing bullish things. So we'll see if it loses any kind of steam here. Yeah, see how we still got an absorption candle. We did get one to the south, but it looks like it wants to close above it. So we might get to that 806 after all. The question is, did anybody take the trade instead of TP around 806? Because that's what he said the probability wise, right, was that we go to that one first. So
On the 1 hour time frame, I was looking at liquidity where I thought was saw both support and
yeah,
resistance at 824. So I'm just wondering, I'm just watching right now to see if we get
yeah,
somewhere anywhere there.
he got it again though. He nailed it again, man. His two levels of institutional upper lower positioning, right, was the 538 and the 806. And we asked him what he believed the likelihood was to get to, and he said 806 is likely the path of least resistance because it'll trap most retail in. So question is are we going to burst through it and hold support, or are we going to lose it? So when it gets into these levels, I'm kind of okay if we burst through it, because if it holds above it, right, we're going to just continue to take that pull. But if we end up hitting below this, right, or we burst through it and we retrace back below it, right, then you're going to have a deep retracement from it. So let's see if we get any kind of pull. So it's starting to get a little bit of pressure south, but it's still not strong. So we're going to push. Also, guys, I'll show you guys in a little bit here too, but we did add the SpaceX onto here. And so let's see. Should be working. I think I did it right, but let's see if he can recognize it. Do you have any updates on SpaceX?
I'm not currently tracking SpaceX, SPCX, in
I
this
think
session. If you select it from the...
so I have it pushed, but I think I need Alex to activate it. So he's getting the data, but I think Alex has to activate it because I just did it like yesterday, pretty much over the weekend. So I'm gonna have Alex do that, or if you talk to him, Paul, let him know I added it and see what we need to do to get that one flipped on, because I know that's going to be a big one that people are going to keep asking about. All right. Starting to look a little toppy, right, on the pole. So again, remember the measured move I was telling y'all, if we push it up, right, it's kind of hitting near that topish. But his call was 806 and we got to 800 and then at a $25 pull, so pretty close. So the key of the Bears taking back control, right, is going to be still watching that 756. And we'll ask them again here in a minute. Right. All I know. I think a lot of people agree with you at time. So somebody said, I don't think it's ethical or healthy for the NQ to just keep targeting all-time highs without a greater retracement. Yeah, but a lot of people have been saying that for the last like 87 all-time highs, right? So the fact of the matter is there's so much news going on. We just have to follow the technicals tight, right? Because things are going to shift. So, but the market definitely continue to smack all-time highs if it wants to. That is for sure. Yeah, so what I'm watching here, guys, macro is still very bullish. The 1 minute we are dojiing, a close below that 70 is going to pull us back to probably the RB. This 56 is going to be key. So now that we've had this little micro double top kind of try to play out, this retracement is huge, right? Because from the high to the low, right, that would put us back around 744. If we jump again for a higher high anywhere above 756 or at least, or 744, bulls are still in charge, right? But if we get any kind of push with absorption back to the south, right, then we're going to get a pretty good retrace. But from a structure standpoint, you know, again, you know, it looks like it's stalling a little, but I'm not, you know, I'm kind of a NEO. I'm not super convinced until we break that 756 area. So, but let's see how this pulls here. Guys, if you're on TikTok joining, this over here is my AI NEO that we have in our company. He is helping guide the markets. So I'm not talking to him as much as I usually do because TikTok don't seem to like when AI talks too much. So, all right, we're getting a little pull, but all it's doing is testing that area. Looks like the bears are kicking in a little bit. Do you think they have enough steam based on the data you can see to push us down further, or do you think this is just a healthy retracement for the bulls? Let's see what he
The
said.
bears are showing up, but they're still fighting an uphill battle against the macro trend. We're currently sitting right on top of that 30,711.30 support level. If that holds, the bulls still have a path toward the measured move targets up at 30,796.50. If they lose 30,711.30, expect a much uglier flush down to the 30,655.03 area as the stops get hit. This is still just a test of the bullish structure, not a full-blown reversal yet.
Okay, so I'm just going to mark it as 711. So that is his line in the sand of a deeper drop, right? So watch this 56. Let's see how the micro reacts to it. If we tap it as resistance, right, we get a close below there, we'll get expansion. Any kind of push that reclaims it, right, which it's trying to do now, and gets a close above these lows is going to give us a northern expansion, right? So this is going to be kind of a nice structure kind of line in the sand, right? Let's see where it wants to send us here. So this 56 is a big level to watch. We did get our red trend shift, but we are still green on this one. For this is the first candle, right, since like a $200 move, right, that is starting to look a little bit pullback like on the macro. So, but we can see if there's any shift. Do you see any sell shift or shift in sell pressure?
The buy fraction has dropped to 23.84%, which is a clear shift towards sell-side dominance in the order flow. Combined with the negative institutional flow, the bears are definitely gaining leverage here. Watch that 30,710.93 support closely. If that breaks, the sell pressure will likely accelerate toward the next institutional zone. Stay disciplined. Do not chase the short into the support. Wait for the breakdown and retest.
So what I'm really curious to see, guys, be really careful with your long, and I'm not going to give it any other reason other than if you're taking longs on these pullbacks, because remember the last couple times he said, I think we're going to get up to about this level, and then I would drop it to the floor, and then we're going to that level. And remember we did that? We literally went to here and then dropped straight to there, which is that 538. And so I'm really intrigued to see if that's how we play out here, because it sure is looking like it. So we're hitting at 711. So again, remember that 56 was his critical level. This is his reversal he was talking about. Came through. We rejected off that, and down we go. So 711 is the absolute line in the sand. He seems to think that if we breach that, we're going to have a deep drop back down to the 651 area.
SpaceX is fixed it.
Oh, you got it fixed? Okay, yeah. I figured there was one piece I was missing because that's usually you and Alex do that. Let's try it. Hey Neo, do you have an update on SpaceX? I don't know if I have to refresh my screen. Let's see.
SPCX is sitting at
There you go.
174.26, stuck in a low
So it
volume
went up.
chop with sell pressure building. The structure is totally unconfirmed and there's no clean setup here, so don't force a trade unless you want to get chewed up by the lack of expansion.
There you go. That's awesome. I really wanted to add that one because of that is like the #1 question I get when I'm live. What is SpaceX gonna do? So now I'm gonna let Neo answer. So all right, so we got the break of the 11. Just from other data we know, right? We're break of the ORB, we're below Lisma. If you think about this, right, from a move standpoint, we're right at that halfway. So if we breach any lower here, we should get that deep pull like he's talking about to 651, which is what he predicted. So 711 is going to be a big one just because if we can break back above, hold support, and breach the ORB and Lisma, that'll tell you the bulls are just really strong. And they're setting the trap. But as of right now, you can see the macro is starting to flip doji, also possible bearish. The 1 minute, this was the doji flip bearish we talked about up there. We did get the head and shoulders, so there's a lot of things that are flipping potential bearish, right? So we want to watch to see if anything like shifts into a bullish nature. So this is a push. I would expect it to come up and retest this low. If it explodes through it, right, we're bear trap. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see. How's everybody doing? You guys doing okay? Good deal. I'm gonna keep things going till 10:30, 10:40, and then I have to leave for probably 20 minutes, maybe, I think at most 20, 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back. So I'll come back for questions and things like that if people have. So I'll just probably leave the room open for you guys. Very interesting play right there, right? So here's what I would look for on this type of structure. We got an equal low with a push, right? So again, let's play the measured move from the top to the bottom. We're rejecting right now perfectly on that 50%. So any kind of pull here that breaks that 50% around that 711 again is going to get a deeper low, right? That's just how the structure plays. So if this holds above 711 on this next 1 or 2 bounces, it's going to come up and try to invalidate that. Any kind of close above that 745 is going to likely get some deeper expansion from within. So let's keep watching this move, but let's check with him. What do you see as far as a high probability trade setup, either long or short, or both? Both, same time. No.
Right now, you've got a classic trap setup where price is testing the 30,708.03 support level after failing to hold the highs. The institutional flow is still bearish and sell pressure is building, so a breakdown of that support is the cleanest short, with room down to the 30,655.03 major institutional level. For a long, I wouldn't touch it unless price reclaims and holds above 30,756.83 with buy volume returning. Anything in the middle of these levels is just noise, so stay disciplined and wait for the structural break on either side before risking your capital.
Okay, so he's still holding the 56. You're going to want to, especially when the markets are open, guys, ask him about the levels from time to time because, hey, Radius, because it's going to shift, right? If the institutions kick in or they shift their positioning, then price is going to shift. So His main level here again is 756. That's what we're testing now. So we'll see if we get any kind of pull from that. Or do we get expansioned up? So that 693 was what he called earlier, remember, as a measured move level. And so that, I kind of want to do that. I think I might change my color coding, like maybe blue for institution and like do something else like a pink or something. I don't know, we'll do the pink blue for measure moves. So that way I know what it was that he called. So, but I'm pretty sure this one he had called the measured move. We'll do like a purple. And so we'll just kind of identify that one. Yeah, Radius, he actually said that when we were back here on our market open thing, he said that high probability is that we're going to move to around 806, so we marked that, and we got really close. We got to 800. The only thing that looks like I'm not certain of it, right, is he said we will likely go to 806, and then we'll get a rejection, and then if we lose the measure move, that 693 or whatever, then we'll have a high probability of pulling to 538 is what he called earlier. So, but it seems like the institutions are shifting some of their positions because he's changing a little on his numbers. And so, but yeah, he already hit that that early on target. Yeah, he already got
Is that
it.
why you do it? Because they're withdrawing orders and putting them in different areas on the book?
Yeah, I mean, usually like the big money's not gonna put them on, take them off all the time like that, but things are gonna shift, right? And that's what he's gonna be able to identify, and that all that stuff matters, right? That's where AI comes in. If they start piling orders above, right, good chance, we're going to target above, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, dealer hedging.
Yeah,
So
usually usually they'll add orders. So yeah, what you're measuring is the strongest level of where all the orders are. But keep in mind some of them get eaten up as the price comes up and touches it, and they eat through some of those orders, and then they stack more on top. You know, but sometimes those levels will actually change, so you'll get a bigger a bigger order somewhere else. You know what I mean? So if a news event happens, they might keep that order there and put more orders above it or something like that, or below it.
yeah, I'm watching this trap play here because this trap, as you guys know, man, that trap indicator's pretty freaking good. Look at it playing out again. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. Getting that 756 level seems to be holding pretty well that he keeps talking about. So from a
Positive,
good.
positive on the GEX has moved to 31078. That's a big level.
Yeah.
I doubt we'll get up there. We're still got to
Not today.
Yeah, I don't think today, but that's I'm interested to see what happens here because it's just shot north.
Right.
Yeah, so someone's put big orders up there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and he's mostly gonna tell me more immediate concerns, so I don't think he's gonna even tell me if there's a level way up there. Uh, let's ask him again. Do you see any potential setups? It looks like we're stalling out at that 756. Is that going to potentially set up a short if we get retracement? And if so, what would be my entry? See, we're getting the trap as well.
You're spot on, that 30,756.83 institutional resistance is holding firm, and with buy fraction dropping toward 43%, we're seeing real exhaustion. If we can't reclaim that resistance, I'd look for a rejection here to set up a short, with a potential entry around 30,740.00 if price rolls over and confirms the failed reclaim.
I asked him too
Your
late 'cause-
invalidation would be a clean hold back above 30,756.83, and your first realistic downside reaction zone would be 30,710.93. Don't force it until you see that lower high form on the 1-minute chart. Chasing the top is a great way to get crushed in this compression.
Yep. So far, I mean, we asked him a little later on there because it happened quickly. It's open, but when I asked him about it, he was saying a break below the 740 and likely to 710 would be your target, which it did pretty much while he was still talking. His reaction zone, when he uses words like reaction zone, right, that's typically a pretty big zone to watch, right? And so notice we tapped almost perfect to it, just past it, and then jumped. Now that 708 was what he talked about earlier, which is we actually hit exact to 708 actually. And so this is going to be a critical level, right? Because the structure obviously screams that we should drop for a lower low, right? But it's got to break this 708. If we can get a break or close below this 708, then we'll likely get expansion back down into these levels, which is that 651 he talked about. So let's see. Let's ask him again since it's been a little bit. I just want to know one more time, based on the open and everything you've seen since open, if you were a market maker now, where would you drive this price?
If I were a market maker here, I'd push this straight through the 30,706.83 institutional resistance zone to force everyone who just shorted to cover their stops. Then, once I've squeezed those shorts and trapped the breakout buyers, I dump it back down to fill the liquidity gap near 30,656.00 to balance the books.
Let's see. That's kind of a tight range that you put there. But yeah, we're definitely bouncing right at that 708 there, so we're holding that as support. If we continue to hold support at 708, what's the next potential target up north?
If 30,708.03 holds as support, your first immediate target for long is that 30,756.83 resistance wall. If buyers can chew through that, you've got room to run toward the 30,806.83 institutional level, but don't hold your breath for a clean move without more buy volume behind it.
Let me ask him if he can. Do you see any institutional levels above 806?
Yeah, there's a major institutional wall sitting up at 30,906.83. If price manages to tear through that 30,806.83 resistance, that 906.83 level is the next spot where I'd expect the institutions to step in and try to defend their position.
That is so okay. I want to know who caught on this. Probably nobody, but this is the stuff I pick up on because I know the behind the curtains. Nowhere in his logic do I tell him to refer to a number as 906 and shortcut it. But you notice how I say that a lot. Oh, so the 906, the 746, and the fact that he just rewrote something to make it okay to tell me if we break above 906, right? He's never said that. Nobody's heard them say that, have you?
No, that's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah, it's not in his logic. He's not even supposed to do that. He's supposed to give the value. And so somewhere along the line, watch. I'm gonna ask him. Watch. This is what's cool about AI. That's so cool that you referenced the 30,906 by saying just 906 because I don't have anywhere in your logic to let that happen, but you still did it, which is cool, and probably because I say it from time to time. I don't know. Why did you reference it like that?
I reference it that way because, in a fast market, calling out the last 3 digits is all you need to keep your head in the game without cluttering the channel.
He already
It's just
identified that. That's
shorthand
what I
for the
do
big
too.
figure, so you can focus on the price action that actually matters right now.
Mad respect. I do the same thing. We'll boost
Right
up here.
on. Keep it lean and you'll stay focused when the heat is on. Let me know if you need to scout the
We're
next
starting to break
move or
down
map
from
out a
708,
trade
guys.
setup.
So 651 is the target if we can get through. 693 though, don't sleep on that. Shoot, I just saw that, but it should break through. The nice thing, I want to know who's been shorting just because of these traps. And Neo said we should be dumping. Dude, isn't that indicator so good? On the 15-second, that thing is absolute fire. So good. They're moving the hedges, yeah. Yeah, it looks like they're wanting to drive this higher. Neo seems to think that you know, they're gonna keep trying to bait the retail and then drop it on them. But he's not super convinced. He says we got to break certain levels before that happens, which he was identifying 708 and 693 as key levels. So we ended up getting our sweep to this area here, which is what I was talking about. And now we're getting a pretty good bullish push from this. So we'll see if this holds.
Big time absorption on that.
Yeah, that was a big push. So this is the importance of if you're, you know, taking any of these short scalps within, right? Always make sure you're trailing it or you have TPs set. Because you don't want to get caught in that push. And I expect to have quite a bit of shakeouts as we drive a little north and south here.
Best thing I've done today is just be patient and wait on quality trades instead of trying to force everything.
That's awesome, man. And that's what we've talked about a couple times. And you even heard Cody mention, you know, that was his biggest realization, right? Is just be patient. You know, you don't have to trade just because something moves doesn't mean you have to jump in that move, right? Or think that you missed that move. If you didn't anticipate it, you didn't miss it because you weren't ready for it, right? So, but let me do this real quick. Yeah, I traded mostly last night, but I did take some trades on some accounts today, so nothing too crazy. I used a little lower volume on these, so it's only like 600 or 700. I'm up on these ones because these ones are actual money type accounts. So, but the price action right now is mixed, right? You know, I think we still gotta pull back a little bit, but it's trying to hold the level. So, but a lot of times with this type of structure, right, you get that lower low expansion, and we did. Now the key on this is going to be, you know, what is the strength of that level? So when you take that high and that low, you can see right around there, like 710 stuff becomes important, right? We stay below that, we're going to expand one more time. So 651 is what I was kind of thinking we would get back down to, but it's interesting, right? Because this drop here should have dropped a little further and it didn't. It jumped, which is a little odd. But then this did not even create an equal high before it failed, which usually creates a failure of the structure with expansion, right? So a little bit of a trickier spot-ish right here.
You see like a bull flag on the 15-second?
Oh, good job, Chuck. I don't, well, so if you're zooming way out, right, maybe, you know, arguably, right? Now for me, if you're looking at this, no, because I don't typically, uh, we don't want like a true flag. Ideally, right? You want to push, and then on the descent, it stays around that 50%, right? And then that's usually what pushes it. So, but more so the way I interpret this is the fact that he called 693 as a measured move target, and we've tapped it now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and we're holding support, right? And so you guys know how I feel about those. So the big win for Neo that I'm excited about in the update, right, is if you guys notice, we added a massive amount of logic to him, and his TA hasn't really changed for the most part, but his additions are things like this, you know, measure moves, retracements, all those pivots of things, right? And so the fact that his measure move call earlier as holding as the primary support change, right, is huge. So that tells me that it's working, right? So it's big. And guys, a couple things. It's 10:20. I have to hard stop, like I said. I'll probably I don't mind leaving this on because I know some people who came in had questions. I just have to. I have somebody meeting me to pick up something really quick, and so I have to go deal with that, and then I'll be back. So once I do, so we got about 15 minutes or so if you guys have questions. But I think most of you guys are done just looking at P&Ls. Man, Christopher, man, you're doing good, Chris. That's awesome, man. 5680, 1400 for Chuck, man. Hold up, that S&P nerd track tactician or whatever who's some expert says it's impossible for us to be profitable. Don't you love people that do that? It's impossible. You guys crack me up, man. Oh,
Hey Nick, remember
what's
that
up?
that loss I told you about like last week?
Yeah.
So I made it all back.
You did a couple yellow swings.
Yeah, but I was holding on to like 3 trades since like Friday, and I just kind of
Nice.
closed out on all of them today. So
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat if you want me to.
Nice. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that was it's always fun to play with the big numbers like that on the demos just to kind of get a feel for it, right, and see if you could get it back, so that's cool.
Yeah, I like just about broke even.
Nice. Guys, this 693 is just pivotal because again, look at this double top trying to break down, but we keep getting DOM support. So any more kind of pressure pushes through. If we can get a close into this area, that would give us the expansion down. So it's just messy, man, because again, everything to me looks like it should come down, but we keep getting jumps and dojis and hammers and absorption, north where we shouldn't. So, for me, if I was a market maker, again, a lot of people are likely long. I would sweep this back to 650, maybe even 628 down in here, sweep that low, and then decide to push it up if we wanted to, right? That's what I would do. So, I don't know. Let me ask him. I'm going to tell him that I thought that. I was just pulling a card out of Neo's hat here and said, if I was a market maker, I'd drive this price down to around that 628, 650 range and bait a bunch of shorts, wipe out the longs, and then send it back north. What do you think on that? He's going to be like, you're an idiot. You never know what he's going to say.
That's the classic liquidity sweep playbook.
Okay, he
Smash
agrees.
through the support at 30,657.39 to trigger stops and bait those momentum
He's
shorts,
saying it's
only to trap
57.
them when price snaps back. If it flushes into that 650 zone and rejects instantly with buy volume, you've got a high probability reversal setup. Just keep your stops tight because if it hits 650 and doesn't bounce immediately, the bears will take full control and send it for a deeper flush.
There it is. So far, right, playing out as it should from the trap, the loss of the 8. But again, look at, it can't even get the close of the body below this. Is the buyers just come in. And so a couple cool things you can ask them, guys, while I have a little time. With Neo, is I can ask him things like, what is the average measured price move that I should expect right now, right? What is the largest move of the bulls? What is the largest move of the bears, right? What is the 50% retracement of the areas, right? What who's winning the retracement battle, all that. That's a lot of the new data that we can ask him. So I'll ask him a couple times, and kind of this little bit of time I got, and let's see. So based on your data, what is the average and largest price move for the bulls and bears that you see?
Based on the recent 30 sample data, the bulls are averaging 78.55 points per push while the bears average 54.78 points per drop. The largest recent swing range was 62.28 points total, so keep your targets within that average move to avoid getting greedy.
So this is an important thing to remember, right? Because it's going to help you with identifying stops, right? Or where you should put your entries. And so if you don't want to have a stop that's 78 or 62 points, right, you might want to wait, right, for a better entry. And so that stuff, you know, is a lot of data that really helps, right? And so you can also say, so based on the retracements, 50% data, who's winning the fight right now? Who tends to get the bigger retracements, and why is that important?
The bears are currently winning the retrace battle because they're forcing deeper, more aggressive pullbacks, while the bulls are struggling to maintain clean expansion. A deep retrace shows the sellers have enough strength to chew through the order flow, which is a massive red flag for any breakout attempt. Think of it like a game of tug of war. If one side is constantly being pulled back further than the other, they're going to get exhausted and eventually lose their grip. You care because deeper retraces kill momentum and increase the probability of a failed breakout or a full-on trend reversal.
That makes sense. So now that we're a little bit into open, most people have done pretty well. Do you see any changes in the important levels that we should be watching, or where we think that is the high probability target?
The market has shifted. That 30,698.87 immediate reaction level is now your primary upside hurdle. If we fail to reclaim and hold above that, the bears
So
will
when
likely
that
drive price
triggered,
back
we
into the
must have just been below.
30,657.11 support to hunt for liquidity. Stay patient. Don't gamble on a breakout until you see a confirmed hold above 30,700.00. Otherwise, you're just begging to be the liquidity that fuels the next leg down.
Okay, so I'm going to pivot this a little. Some data must have moved. So he's looking now at 700. So with us being above, if we hold this support and we get a close above, expectation would be expansion back up to here. If we get any kind of retracement, close below here, we would come back down to expand to test those lows down there. So let's see. Anybody in a trade right now? Just throw a thumbs up. I'm curious who's out there trading. You are? Are you more?
I'm in a long.
Hey, welcome, Atomic. I'm assuming you're going for. You've been scalping longs, nice. Yeah, the pressure is building from that 700 for sure.
We just broke the trend line on the 15 cent.
Yeah, welcome, man. So what you're looking at right now, we're trading the Nasdaq. So I'm on the MNQ is what I'm charting, and over here you have our AI NEO who helps guide us in the market. So I'm currently live with the community, so you can see on Google Meet over here, and then live on TikTok. So, but if you have any questions for the AI, you can MNQ in. So Mike Nancy. Yeah. All right. So we end up getting up to our area here of the trap, right? We know Lisma's up there at 770. So let's see if we get that push. So your guys' longs should be doing pretty good. So notice how in that, right, we had that 700 range. We had a push, 50% retracement, uphold, and that held that range, right? Close above there, gave you that expansion. So again, the 756 is going to be another really key level. So if we reject off that one more time, now think about this from a larger structural play. If you mute the indicators, right, we have the push, we pulled, right, push, failed to 50%, lost it, tried to break the high, couldn't do it, created the low, came up, tried to break the high, couldn't do it, created another low. Now it came up, we broke the local high. So if this breaks these upper highs, right, we'll get full expansion back to 800. Anything short of that, if we get any kind of breakdown doji close right like that, then it's going to pull right back down. So right now we're mostly trading the Nasdaq. So Neo can look up a lot of different things. If it's not in his list, right, we can add it. But currently I just have him on the NQ right now, or MNQ. So let's see if we get this rejection on 56 here. So now we got the doji set. Close below would give us our expansion back down. All right, close above would push us back up.
Order filled. Come on.
Yeah, we're getting the push. Be careful though, we're coming into these highs here, guys.
Stop
So,
filled.
for us to retrace it, it's not unlikely. Sound like you got hit with your trail there, Bobby. We can hear your orders.
Yeah, it's trailing it. Yep.
Yeah. So keep in mind, if you're gonna trail right on an expansion push, you want to put it below that level. But I always caution those because remember, as I was saying in this prior high area, that could get you stuck. So we had the bears kicking pretty strong right there.
Yep.
So for us to lose this level here, I would look heavily at like their 738. Any kind of close below there should give us expansion back to that 700, 710. So, yeah, no, he already got blocked earlier because apparently he made so much money that he got bored and came into a chat and decided to criticize things. And so, since he's so wealthy of things, I figured we'd just let him go in timeout. Yeah, 806 is what he called earlier, radius. That's what we were tapping. Let's see. Do you see any upper change in the institutional positioning, or is it still around that 806 area?
That 30,806.83 gamma wall is still the main upside obstacle and is holding steady as the primary resistance. The institutional max change level is still hanging out at that same 30,806.83 area, so until we clear that, expect this zone to keep rejecting any aggressive bullish attempts.
Do you see the sell pressure kicking in enough to actually reject this, or do you think we're going to come back up and test this 806?
Sell pressure is definitely starting to weigh on the price, with the buy fraction down to 66% and institutional flow still negative. We're currently fighting to hold at 30,731.83 institutional support. If that level gives way, you're looking at a breakdown toward 30,708.00 rather than a test of the 30,806.83 resistance.
So you see, isn't it crazy though, guys? The blue lines are what NEO called out as a critical level. So 756 was a big one that he called earlier. As far as I think that was some level of position institutional stuff, right? And man, that thing is just acting like a wall right now. Just acting like a wall. Guys, yeah, Christian. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he keeps saying about that 800 though is that as it goes up there, don't expect a direct path, right? And so that was a nice little a deep sweep before they decide they want to push it again. So now let's see if we have enough juice to break through this time. If it can't break through cleanly with this one, it's going to be pretty heavy back the other way.
Guess I'm about done for the
Yeah.
day.
Guys, if you're green, man, you know how I treat Mondays. Just don't go crazy. Mondays set your week, man. You know, if you've had a good day, don't push it too much. So, if anything, I encourage people to practice with Neo, right? Asking him questions, seeing how he can do it, help you, all that. It seems like today went better on the old TikTok front because letting him talk every 10, 20 minutes or so, spaced out, seems to keep me off the radar of the naughty list. So, whereas when we were talking to him quite a bit, we were getting in quite a bit of trouble. So, TikTok kept smacking me. Again, guys, the plan, I want to keep testing him, so I have no issues being live here for a bit. I do have to leave here in about 5 minutes or less. Just for a minute. But what I'm going to do, guys, for the Google Meet is if you're done and you're green, you're welcome to drop off. I'll leave the Google Meet open so y'all can talk if you like, and then do what you got to do. You know, for those in the community, just test Neo, right? Keep beating him up, right? To test him on the structure, the retracements, the calls. We do have some really cool things that we're going to be adding. I think probably as soon as today. Two things. One, I want to add, if I get my way here with Alex in my meeting later, a quick prompt button. So when you click it, it's going to pop up, you know, some quick prompts like, are we bullish? Are we bearish? Or, you know, what is the bias? Any trade setups? Can you help me with my trade? Things like that. Just something to kind of help guide people towards, you know, a quick prompt of things, right? And so, especially for those at work, right? Sometimes talking to them is not possible, and sometimes typing is even worse, right? And so, you know, I fully plan on doing that. And so, and then the other one is going to be an FAQ. So what I want to do in the FAQ is going to be more, also kind of quick prompt, right? Like, what should I ask Neo? You know, what, I don't know, like, you know, can I ask Neo where institutional positioning is, or, you know, whatever. I'm going to come up with a few based on the support tickets that I get from people. Um, and then I'll come up with a couple. And then once I get those in, you know, then you can just click it, right? And so I've been teetering how I want to deal with the FAQs, and I like that path because when you click it, it's going to basically ask Neo, and then he answers your own question, right, on that. And so, but it's gonna be good. You know, we have a few more things we're kind of tightening up just to kind of help people that I know aren't used to technology and things. So, but let me look at something. Man, another rejection right off 756. Anybody try to scalp that off there? It's so crazy to see it will play out so much. All right, guys. All right, I will be right back, guys. I gotta go handle this. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I don't think it'll be too long. Maybe 20, 30 minutes at most. So I'm gonna leave this open. If TikTok times me out, then I'll come back. So.
Nick, it's in 30 minutes. If you're not talking in 30 minutes, they're going to close the live. That's from what I've heard from other TikTokers. So
Oh,
you should try to come back before 30 minutes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
People who do live every night,
yeah,
the ones who do live every night and the ones who share Bookmap, they said, because I know that people were asking
the
and
idol.
they said, no, if I'm not there for 30 minutes, it kicks me out. So
Gotcha.
try
Yeah.
to come like 27, 25 minutes, even if it's like for 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
I don't think it'll be that long. If it ends up being that long, then I'll run back up. But either way, I'll leave the Google Meet on. I'll just be on mute, guys. Just, you know, like I said, keep asking Neo what he thinks. I don't know if any of you that are in here are still trading. If you want to, you guys can lead that charge and just ask Neo questions. You know, you don't have to trade it. Let's see if he gets it right. I'm trying to test that data from him. So I am meeting with Alex later this afternoon too.